I believe San Francisco is a great place to grow up. And there's a lot of things out here. Every summer on Juneteenth, we have a big carnival.
It's the experience and it's the education.
It has its pros and its cons. And I say the good part about it is that you are exposed to everything, so you know what the world has on all levels.
The cultures here and the diversity of people, my kids have grown where they can be free.
I think San Francisco is a great place to grow up. I actually grew up here. There's a diversity here in San Francisco that, in my experience, you don't find in other places. But at the same time, I think San Francisco can also be a hard place to grow up. Our work is really about making sure that young people, families, transitional age youth, all of them have what they need to grow up and have good experiences in this city.
We see ourselves as the eyes and ears and amplifiers of our community. And we see ourselves as the convener for different voices and different opportunities in the city.
The essence of what DCYF is, what we embody, we are pretty much like anything and everything for children, youth, and families. We ensure that families have access to resources and opportunities, everything from childcare to post-secondary options, from workforce to after-school care to just how to be a parent. Folks come to us for everything.
One of the things that makes DCYF unique is how we operate. We don't go out and provide the services to children, youth, and families. We rely on our CBOs to do that. We have a partnership with our grantees. You know, I like to describe them as our agents of change in the community. It's a journey. It's not just you drop money in the community and then you're done. We help to set the direction in collaboration with them. A lot of times our grantees really understand the dynamics, they understand the people, the cultures, and they're really able to bring it all together in ways that ensure that we can provide the best services.
DCYF is fortunate enough to have a 5-year grant cycle with our nonprofit agencies. We get to spend a lot of time with our CBOs. We get to support them as they build the relationships with their children and their families.
The first year, they're kind of ramping up. The second year, they're making some tweaks. The third year is when they're hitting their stride. And then you need the fourth and fifth year to really see the impact that they're gonna have. It gives us more time to really analyze and reflect and make sure we are putting forth what is in the best interest of our children, youth, and families.
It also creates stability and structure for our CBO staff. So it's easier for CBOs to hire staff. They're not in this continuous fundraising mode and not knowing whether or not they have the resources to continue staff in their program.
The CNA is the first part of our 3-part planning process as a way to collect information about what the needs are for children, youth, and families.
We need to know what's happening, what's needed. We take a year, maybe even a year plus, to go out and talk to everyone from 0 to 24.
And the way that we did that was host all of these fantastic family summits. These amazing all-day, fun, engaging events that brought out families, that brought out young people, that brought out other key stakeholders like service providers, teachers, and we asked questions of our community. What are we doing right and what are we doing wrong? Should we continue some of these programs, and which ones we need to just stop and pivot and do something better?
If we're hearing we need more workforce, or we need more work opportunities, we need more childcare or more after school, or we need more health and wellness, that gives us an indication of, okay, this is where we need to put our dollars.
So the second part of our multi-year planning process is the services allocation plan. And this requires us to spend another year to deeply engage with our community, with other key stakeholders, to take the learnings from our needs assessment and create a strategic plan, which is essentially our funding roadmap. Moving into this next cycle, we're going to really be focused on 4 result areas that we're calling out.
The first one being children and youth are supported by nurturing families and community. The second one, children and youth are emotionally and physically healthy. The third is children and youth are ready to learn and succeed in school. And the fourth one is youth are ready for college work and productive adulthood.
The services allocation plan is the moment where we as a staff take all that information and turn it into something that can be implemented. What does it mean for the services that we need? Do we have those services? Do we need to refine or adjust those services so that they're better meeting those needs? Or is there something completely new that needs to be created?
So the final phase of the planning process is our request for proposal. And this means that we take all the learnings, all the data from our needs assessment, all the conversations and planning ideas from our services allocation plan, and move them all together and create this one big document called the request for proposal.
It's the mechanism that we actually get those CBO grantees to be a part of our portfolio. It contains a lot of information about how we want services to happen, and then we ask a series of questions of applicants that help us get at who the right people are to provide those services.
Putting out this RFP allows agencies to then submit proposals to say, hey, we're experts in providing after school, or we're experts in doing workforce or providing mental health services. This is what our program looks like. This is the target population that we have experience in serving, and this is how we feel we're going to meet the needs of families and be able to have an impact in this result area.
Over and over and over again in all of our community needs assessment data, the disparities that our most marginalized children and families experience still persist and continue. And due to the pandemic, not only have the disparities persisted, they have worsened.
We're still seeing achievement gaps in the literacy and math rates of our Black and brown kids way below proficiency. We're still seeing the need for after-school programs, childcare, housing. What we also saw time and time again is the need for mental health and wellness for not just our older youth, but our younger youth, kids 6 and 7 years old. Coming out of COVID, that increased significantly.
So as we enter the new funding cycle, we really see that we need to do things differently because we can't do the same thing and expect to get different results.
The pandemic revealed this great opportunity for DCYF to step into this role of leadership. We learned that when we come together, we could break down barriers.
It gave us the opportunity to see what's possible because red tape was cut down and things that were barriers at one point were no longer barriers. So it let us realize that these changes, they are possible, and it'll be to better serve children, youth, and families.
I grew up as a low-income kid in the city. There was not a DCYF back then, but I benefited from a lot of public programs, and those opportunities were really crucial to me being in the position that I'm in now. And so I think about that a lot.
When I was growing up in Boston, we were very poor. And having access to caring adults and after-school programs really shaped the way I think about the work here at DCYF.
Every experience for me growing up in Compton, being the first to go to college, everything that I learned from being the only little speck of pepper in a sea of salt in my anthropology class, and all that is brought in every single day to the work that I do.
There's talent, there's ability, there's innovation that lives all over the place in this city, often in places where people wouldn't even look for it. How do we make sure that that next leader, that next mayor, that next DCYF staff person, how do we make sure that they get those opportunities that they need to get to where we want them to ultimately get to?
I want our families to not give up hope. There's so much to look forward to. The city's coming back. You have CBOs who are here and dedicated and really care about our community. I believe that the future is going to be brighter for everyone and that there is going to be a space for everyone in this new San Francisco.
We endure, we adapt, we lead. In this city, anything is possible. We turn ships into hotels and offices, power plants into housing and new neighborhoods. We build satellites that sweep across the sky, and we create a world where young girls from the projects could be mayor.